Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And so it's time for my next book review. Well, I'm glad you're here because I'm getting to review actually the first James Bond book that I ever owned. It's the next in the series, according to my book reviews that we're doing. But the first one I actually ever owned, as far as the book goes, is You Only Live Twice. And I had this in an old hardcover copy. It was loaned to me by a friend years ago, and he loaned it to me. I was going to read it, and I didn't get around to it. We're talking, I was like, I think I was 18, 19, and this friend loaned me the book, and I was supposed to get it back to him. Wound up moving. Yeah, and I still had the book. He was just like, just keep it, kind of thing. But I've had that book ever since. And this is the first time I finally got around to reading it. Can you imagine that? 30-something years later? Anyway, I loved this book. So, what a great follow-up book to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I kept thinking, man, this would have been a better movie than what You Only Live Twice was, if they would have followed the book. However, it means they would have had to follow the canon, the storyline. The movies would have had to follow the books closer, a lot more closer than what they did. So, the previous book, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, like I said, it was like identical to the movie. And then you have this book, You Only Live Twice, a perfect follow-up, because Bond is a broken man. He's a broken man. He's messing up missions. He's showing very little signs that he wants to adapt back into life and into a normal life. His wife was murdered, and he misses her dearly. So that's how this book starts off. Bond is really messed up, and M is ready to fire him. He's just like, that's it. I cannot have him in this organization any longer. He's a danger to himself. He's a danger to others. I've got to fire him. Bond's doctor has seen James Bond come back from the brink multiple times, physically devastated, mentally hurt. I think previous missions, his doctor is just like, listen, I've seen this guy recover from worse. He's going through a lot of mental trauma, but I've seen this guy bounce back. He needs another chance. Don't just throw him to the garbage. And so M agrees. M's just like, yes, I know. He's a great agent. He's done a lot. He has recovered from a lot. So they kind of figure out, well, he just needs kind of a mission, almost one he can't even mess up. Something easy, but fulfilling at the same time. So they send him to Japan, and he meets Tiger Tanaka. And now in the movie, Tiger he's a little bit of a part. He's kind of the contact over in Japan. Bond winds up spending more time with several female agents who actually are not in this. They are not in the book. Tanaka is a lot. Him and Bond spend a lot of time together. They form a great friendship. And Bond basically says, hey, if, they sent me, my government sent me here, get some information and this secret formula kind of thing. And if you give it to our government, I'll give you whatever you want. He's basically saying, we will open up the library and you come in and choose your book. Basically, you pick what you want from us. Well, that's a pretty good offer. But Tiger says, listen, it's kind of in an undertone, as if Tiger, he knows who Bond is. He knows what he does for the British Secret Service. And he just basically tells Bond, listen, I do have something I want you to handle. We have this foreigner who has set up shop on a private island. Walks around in like chainmail armor, carrying a sword, and he's got a wife who also wears all this protection. And the reason why they walk around all protected on this island is because it is an island of death. I think he said, well, what does this man do on this island? And he says he's a collector. And Bond's like, what does he collect? And Tiger says he's a collector of death. So this is where No Time to Die, the movie, starts taking a lot of information from. You have this eccentric person, an island of death, a big concrete fortress on this private island. And he grows death. He grows poisons and all kinds of different things. Because if you remember, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the angels of death, remember the ladies that were being cured of their phobias, their allergies, basically, and then they were sent back to England and different areas of the world. These were angels of death. They were carrying these chemicals, and that they were going to release that would cause like the death of crops, the death of livestock, things like that were going to destroy the economy of these different countries that they lived in. Well, that guess where all this stuff was being grown. So there was this island of death where all these poisons were being manufactured, like natural poisons and stuff. And people would wander onto this island. They'd get onto the island, and of course they'd stumble into these poisons, these toxins, poisonous plants, etc. They would die. So there was this doctor of death, basically. So Bond's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll he accepts the mission. It'll be an equal trade. He gets what he wants. He can help Tiger with his problem. Everyone comes out a winner. Tiger says, here's the Doctor of Death and his wife. Shows him the pictures. And wouldn't you know, Bond looks at it and it's Blofeld. And not just Blofeld. It's not a wife. It's Blunt, the other German lady from on Her Majesty's Secret Service, who in the movie is the one who actually kills Tracy with the machine gun as Blofeld is driving. The two of them are holed up on this island. Oh, the rage that's seething through Bond as soon as he saw their pictures. And he doesn't even tell Tiger that he knows them. He doesn't want anybody to know who these individuals are, because he wants his private revenge. He doesn't want the troops coming in. He doesn't want the government getting involved and being like, hey, this is Blofeld. Let's get him arrested or anything like that. Bond is like, no. He's like, I'm killing these people. And So then Bond starts to get close to the island. That's when he gets in with the Japanese diving girls, and he becomes a rower for one of these girls, and they become very close. And she falls in love with Bond, but she also knows what his mission is going to be, so she's helping him. And but so I won't give away a whole lot more than that. But of course, my interest is piqued because I'm just like, oh man, Bond is going to get his revenge on Blofeld. So I'm excited about how that's all going to happen. And it made me realize one other thing too. I think I'm gonna make a short on this to post. But you ever notice in the movie how that the German lady, she's the one that shoots Tracy. She shoots her. Blofeld's just driving the car. It was the other lady that killed Tracy. And whatever happened to her? Literally in the movies, Bond never got revenge on her. He gets Blofeld in the beginning of For Your Eyes Only. He finally gets to send him down the smokestack in the wheelchair. But what do they call it? Broomhilda? In the book, you have to pardon my language, but I won't say it. He calls, as soon as he sees her picture in the book, and You Only Live Twice, all he does is look at the picture and see who it is, and he's just like that B-dot. He's seething with anger. Bond does get his revenge on both of them. But then there's a couple of lines that are taken for No Time to Die out of this book as well. The setting of the death island, that was very No Time to Die. In fact, you could almost like visualize the No Time to Die private island while reading it. But a couple of the lines, the die, Blofeld, die. That as Bond's choking him right out of You Only Live Twice. Also, so now at the beginning of the movie of You Only Live Twice, they killed off Bond, and then they have the newspaper article that British officer killed in the line of duty. That comes towards the end of the book, and they do that as well. And there's the epitaph. M in No Time to Die at the very end, where M, and they're all going to be clinking glasses. They're drinking to Bond, and M reads that quote about living life to the fullest, kind of thing.
The function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days trying to prolong them. I shall use my time.
That very epitaph is used for Bond when they thought he was dead at the end of You Only Live Twice. So that was interesting. There were a number of things from No Time to Die that were taken from this book. Man, if they could have lined up the movies like they did these, like Ian Fleming had written the books, what a really cool thing it would have been to watch Bond get this revenge on film. So yeah, it's a pity. It's a pity that they couldn't have done that. It was a better Blofeld story with Bond getting his revenge than just what they did in the movie, where he basically was meeting Blofeld for the first time. And then Blofeld gets away there at the end of You Only Live Twice in the movie, but definitely not in the book. Some of the hot mud, like what they were using in Diamonds Are Forever at the very beginning there, the hot mud, and Bond thinks he kills Blofeld by throwing him into the hot mud. That whole hot mud was a possible death threat to Bond, of being used against him. So that was kind of interesting. So there were little things here and there from You Only Live Twice that were fed into other movies in the franchise as well. Bond's relationship with the Japanese diving girl, really a beautiful story. Oh my goodness. The sacrifices she makes at the end because of her love for Bond is just something else. I will tell you this, that whole thing, has Bond ever had a kid? And that, well, if you read this book, there's a little teaser. That's a little Easter egg. That's a little Easter egg right there. Bond, children, child. All right. You got to read the book to know what I'm talking about. But this is a good one. It's a great one. So I liked On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I love this follow-up one. And so I've only got 2 to go of Ian Fleming's. So I've been doing like 1 a month here, and so just a couple more to go. Anyway, I've kept you too long enough as it is on this video, only because I kind of went a little more depth into the book than I have before on my other reviews. I kind of just let you know if I like it or not. So that must tell you what I thought about this one. What a great story, and a great love story in there as well. A great revenge story. You kind of see Bond come around. You see him heal, but you still see him hurting, and that. So it was very well written. I liked this book a lot. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you in the next video. All right, bye.